Okay, let's try a little experiment.
Okay.
I want you to close your eyes for a second and picture a Toyota Highlander. What's the first thing that pops into your head? Be honest.
I see a beige SUV. Definitely. I see a school drop-off line.
Yep.
I see a cup holder full of like melted crayons. It's basically invisible. It's the automotive equivalent of a pair of sensible pleated khakis.
Exactly. It is the safest of safe bets. It's the car you buy when you've given up on being cool and you just need something that starts every single morning.
Right.
But, and this is where it gets really weird, Toyota, probably the most conservative car company on the planet, has decided to take those beige khakis and just set them on fire.
A bold move.
Because for the 2027 model year, the Toyota Highlander has deleted the gas engine.
Entirely.
Gone.
It is a massive, and I have to say, a pretty shocking pivot. We're talking about the standard bearer for normal, one of the best-selling midsize SUVs ever.
And now it's a dedicated battery electric vehicle.
Yep. No gas tank, no tailpipe, not even a hybrid option. If you want a 2027 Highlander, you are plugging it in.
And that's the irony that just hooked me immediately. The car known for playing it safe is making one of the boldest moves in the whole industry.
It really is.
So our mission today is simple. We're going to do a proper review-style deep dive. We're stripping away all the marketing fluff. I think Toyota is calling it a best experience vehicle.
Oh, yes. That makes me want to gag a little bit.
Right. And we're going to figure out if this is a genuine revolution or if it's just, a compliance car wearing a famous name tag.
And we have a lot to work with. We've got the official press releases, we have specs from Car and Driver and Edmunds, and even some hands-on first looks from guys like TRD John on YouTube who've actually been inside the thing.
Okay, so before we get to the horsepower and the range and all that, we have to talk about the elephant in the room.
Or the grand elephant.
Exactly. So if I'm a loyal Toyota buyer, right, I'm that person who buys a new Highlander every 5 years. I walk into a dealership in 2027, I want a gas engine. What happens?
Well, they politely walk you about 10 feet to the left.
Okay.
They've created this really strategic split in the lineup. If you want gas, or even a traditional hybrid, you must buy the Grand Highlander.
Which is the bigger, boxier.
Correct. The Grand Highlander keeps the combustion engines. But if you want the standard Highlander badge, the name you've known for 25 years.
That's now exclusively electric.
Exclusively. It's a fascinating branding gamble, isn't it? They're using their most recognizable name to kind of force EV adoption. They're holding the brand hostage to the powertrain.
It feels like a shell game with names. Like, here's the Highlander, but it's not the Highlander you know.
Pretty much.
But let's look at the car itself. Because visually, this doesn't look like my neighbor's Highlander.
Not even close. This is based on their BZ large SUV concept, and they actually kept a surprising amount of that futuristic DNA.
It's no longer a boring family hauler.
No. It's got that shark nose, they call it the hammerhead front face.
It's very aggressive.
It is. Slim C-shaped LED lights that wrap around. And of course, since it's an EV, there's no big grille, it's all smooth. It even has the flush electronic door handles.
See, the flush handles always feel like a gimmick to me. Is that just for looks, or is there a real point?
It's a little of both, but it's mostly about aerodynamics. When you're building an EV, air resistance is like the enemy of your range.
Right.
Every little thing you can smooth out adds a mile or two to the battery. But the biggest change isn't the handles, it's the dimensions. This is where the engineering gets really interesting.
Okay, give me the numbers.
It is 4 inches longer overall than the old gas Highlander.
Okay, that's noticeable.
But the wheelbase, the distance between the front and rear wheels, has grown by a massive 8 inches.
8 inches. Wow. Okay, pause there. 8 inches sounds like a lot, but why should I care about wheelbase? It's just a measurement, isn't it?
It is the most important measurement for how a car feels. By pushing the wheels out to the absolute corners, you do a few things. First, you create this huge cavity for the battery pack, that classic skateboard design.
Right.
Second, a longer wheelbase makes for a much smoother ride. It cuts down on that pitching motion over bumps. And third, and this is the big one for families, it frees up a ton of interior space.
So it drives more like a limo, but still parks like an SUV.
That's the idea, yeah. It's designed to feel low, wide, and really planted.
I have to bring up one detail from that TRD John video that just made me laugh. He was looking at a specific color. I think it was called Spellbound.
Ah, yes, a paint shop.
He described it as a rose gold with purple flake.
It is definitely a departure from, magnetic gray metallic.
A purple Highlander? I mean, is Toyota having a midlife crisis? It has big, I'm not a regular mom, I'm a cool mom vibes.
I think it's a signal they're trying to attract a different kind of buyer. You don't put purple flake paint on a car that's supposed to be invisible in the suburbs. They want this to be a statement vehicle, like the Kia EV9.
Okay, let's stop looking at the paint and pop the hood. Or, well, look at the motors. We promised no fluff. What is powering this thing?
Right. So you have two main setups. There's a front-wheel drive model with a single motor that gives you 221 horsepower and about 198 pound-feet of torque.
Or wait, 221 horsepower in a big, heavy 3-row electric SUV? That sounds anemic.
It's on the lower end, for sure. For context, the old gas hybrid had about 243 horsepower.
So it's a downgrade on paper.
It is. It'll move the car, but you're not going to be winning any stoplight races. It's what we call a compliance spec. It exists so they can advertise a lower starting price.
Nobody should actually buy that one.
If you enjoy merging onto a highway without, praying, then no. You want the all-wheel drive model.
Okay.
That adds a second motor. Bumps you up to 338 horsepower and 323 pound-feet of torque.
Okay, 338. Now that's a healthy jump. That's almost a 50% increase.
It is. And remember, because it's electric, that's instant torque. There's no transmission fumbling for a gear, no engine that needs to rev up. You touch the pedal and you are gone.
So Car and Driver called the acceleration brisk, right?
Yeah.
Which is car reviewer code for.
Fast enough that your spouse won't yell at you, but slow enough that you won't scare the kids.
Precisely. It's not a Tesla Plaid.
Not even trying to be. It's trying to pass a semi-truck with confidence.
Okay, let's talk about the number that gives everyone anxiety. Range. How far can I go before I'm stranded on the side of the road with my kids?
They're offering two battery pack sizes. There's a standard 77.0 kilowatt hour pack and then a larger 95.8 kilowatt hour pack.
And in the real world, what does that translate to in miles?
The estimates are they're okay. The base model with the small battery gets you about 287 miles. The all-wheel drive with that same small battery drops you to 270. But the one most people will actually want, the long-range setup with the big battery, that gets you up to 320 miles.
320 miles. Is that actually good? I feel like I'm always seeing headlines about cars with 400 or 500 miles of range these days.
It's the magic number to be competitive right now. It puts it right there, neck and neck with the Kia EV9 and the Hyundai Ioniq 9. It's decent.
But there's always a but.
But that 320 miles is under perfect ideal conditions.
Right. So if I'm driving 75 miles per hour on the interstate in February with the heater blasting.
Exactly. EV batteries hate cold weather and they hate high speeds. In a real-world winter road trip, that 320 probably looks a lot more like 230 or 240.
Okay, so that's enough for daily life. But on a road trip, you are definitely stopping every 3 hours.
You are. Which brings us to charging. Because if I am stopping every 3 hours with screaming kids, that stop had better be fast.
Please tell me it's fast.
This is a bit of a mixed bag. First, the good news. It comes standard with the NACS port.
For those of us who don't speak in acronyms, that's the Tesla port, right?
Correct. The North American charging standard. No adapters, no clumsy dongles. You pull up to a Tesla Supercharger, you plug it in, and it just works.
Okay, that is a huge selling point. I've seen people fumbling with adapters in the rain. It looks absolutely miserable.
It is. This totally eliminates that friction, but, and this is a big but, the charging speed itself is just average.
Fine average.
Toyota is claiming 10% to 80% charge in about 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Under ideal conditions, it's not terrible. But if you look at the competition, the Kia EV9 and Hyundai Ioniq 9, they use an 800-volt architecture.
What does that mean?
It means they can do that same 10 to 80% charge in about 18 to 20 minutes.
So Toyota kind of cheaped out on the architecture.
They went with a 400-volt system. It's older, it's cheaper, it's arguably more tested tech. But it does mean you're sitting at that charger for an extra 10 minutes every single time compared to the Korean cars.
And 10 minutes doesn't sound like much until you're the one waiting.
Or you're the person in the Tesla behind the Toyota tapping your watch.
Yeah. Okay, let's go inside the car. We talked about that wheelbase stretching out. What does that actually feel like when you sit in it? Is it a cavern?
Space is the headline. The floor is completely flat because there's no transmission tunnel. And that changes everything for the interior layout.
And screens. We have to talk about the screens.
Of course. Standard stuff here. You've got a massive 14-inch central touchscreen and a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster for the driver.
I saw in that TRD John video he was playing with the ambient lighting. It has, 64 colors?
It does. He specifically mentioned changing it from purple to green. It's a little gimmicky, but people love that stuff.
Sure.
What's more important is the materials. Lots of soft touch stuff, and standard faux leather Toyota calls it Softex.
And there's a huge glass roof, right?
A fixed panoramic glass roof.
And
It stretches almost all the way back to the third row.
fixed, meaning it doesn't open. I never know how to feel about that. It looks cool, but I like a breeze.
It's cheaper to make, and it saves headroom, which is key when you're trying to cram people in the back.
Speaking of cramming people in, let's talk about the penalty box. In the old Highlander, the third row was basically a torture device
It really was. Knees in your chest, head hitting the ceiling, that has totally changed.
because of the wheelbase.
That 8-inch growth and the flat floor, I mean, the third row actually fits adults now. The hip point is lower, there's real leg room. It's a genuine 7-seater, not a 5+2 in an emergency situation.
That is a game changer for families. But if I have 7 people in there, where do the suitcases go?
Cargo space is decent.
Yeah.
You get about 15.9 cubic feet behind the third row. Think a few carry-ons or a week's worth of groceries, and 45.6 cubic feet if you filled that row down.
Okay, now, I have to ask the big question.
Yeah.
It's an EV.
Yep.
There's no giant gas engine up front. So please tell me it has a frunk.
It does not have a frunk.
Come on, Toyota. Really, even the Ford F-150 Lightning has a massive frunk. Why not here?
It's a huge missed opportunity. The hood opens and it's just motors and HVAC stuff. But they have tried to compensate. There's a really deep storage well under the rear cargo floor.
Okay.
TRD John showed you can actually store the cargo cover down there when you're not using it, which is a nice touch.
I guess I'll forgive the lack of a frunk if the basement storage is good. I do like the party trick feature they mentioned, the V2L.
Vehicle to
Swap.
load. Yeah, this is becoming a standard feature on good EVs, and I'm glad they included it. It's got a 1,500-watt inverter.
Okay, so for a non-electrician, what does that mean practically?
It means your car is a giant battery on wheels with a regular wall outlet. You can plug in a coffee maker at a tailgate party, run a laptop, or even power your fridge during a blackout.
See, that's the kind of utility that actually sells cars. It's not just, can I get from A to B? It's, can I run a blender in a stadium parking lot?
Priorities.
Exactly. Okay, so we've got the look, the power, the interior. Let's talk about the verdict. Who is making this and why does that matter?
This is a major economic point for U.S. buyers. This is the first Toyota EV assembled in the United States.
Where at?
Georgetown, Kentucky. And the batteries are coming from a new plant in North Carolina.
So for people who care about American made, this actually checks that box pretty hard. A Japanese brand, but an American car.
It does. And that assembly location almost certainly qualifies it for federal tax incentives, which could knock $7,500 off the price.
Speaking of price,
Yeah.
what's the damage?
Nothing's official, but the estimates from Car and Driver and others put it in a range between $54,000 and $60,000.
Oof. 60 grand for a Highlander. That is a mental hurdle for some people.
It sounds high compared to the old Highlander, but look at the market. The Kia EV9, its main competitor, starts right in that same bracket. They are aiming this directly at the Kia.
So let's wrap this up. Brutally honest pros and cons. Why should I buy it?
Pros. First, the Supercharger network. Access to that without a dongle is a massive peace of mind advantage.
Huge.
Second, the interior space. That flat floor and usable third row are game changers for families. Third, the Made in USA factor and the tax credits. And honestly, the Toyota reputation. People just expect it to work forever.
Why should I run away screaming? The cons.
Charging speed. It's just objectively slower to charge than the competition from Korea. That 400-volt system is a cost-cutting move you will feel on every road trip.
Okay.
Second, the range is just good, not great. 320 miles is the absolute ceiling. And third, the identity crisis.
Explain that one.
By kicking all the gas buyers over to the Grand Highlander, they're making the Highlander name confusing. If you walk in expecting a gas car, you're disappointed. If you walk in expecting a cutting-edge EV, you might be let down by the charging speed. It's trying to bridge two worlds.
And that brings me to our final thought here. I can't stop thinking about this name game. By forcing the Highlander nameplate, one of their strongest brands, to go 100% electric, Toyota is really putting all their chips on the table.
It's a fascinating strategy. Usually a car maker launches some weird new sub-brand for their EVs like BZ or Ioniq.
Right, and Toyota did that with the BZ4X and it flopped.
It was underwhelming, yeah. So now they're taking their golden goose, the Highlander, and saying, this is the future.
But is it a confident bet on that future, or is it just a shell game to meet emissions targets? Look, everyone, the Highlander is electric, but please ignore that we're selling 1 million gas-guzzling Grand Highlanders right next to it.
And that is the multi-billion-dollar question. It lets them lower their fleet emissions average while still selling combustion engines to people who won't switch, just under a slightly different name. It's clever, but it's so risky. If the EV Highlander flops, they haven't just failed a model, they've tarnished a 25-year-old brand.
It's a high-stakes poker game played with family SUVs. So, here's the question for you listening. You've owned the gas Highlander, you loved it. Are you ready to trade the gas station for a 30-minute stop at a supercharger just to keep that nameplate? Or are you defecting to the grand side?
Or to a Kia.
Or to a Kia. And that is a scary thought for Toyota. Thanks for diving in with us.
Drive safe.
And maybe go see that spellbound paint in person before you judge.
It might grow on you, like a fungus.
We'll see you next time.